welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Kennedy and I am a 21-year-old college student studying biology and am pre-med. For our video this week, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I did not feel like filming this, but I made a commitment to myself and to you guys to put out a video every single Sunday, at least until the end of the year, and just kind of see where it goes and if it's benefiting me. So, let's get on with it. This video is going to be a overview of how I'm studying for the MCAT, I guess. I know that a lot of you out there are probably in the same place as me, studying for the MCAT, applying to medical schools, all those good things, and I just kind of wanted to give you guys a little bit of an insight into what I am doing. So the first thing that I thought would be really important for me to mention is my Google Doc. So my very first day that I had set aside to study, I made a Google Doc that has pretty much everything on it. It has like my doctor's appointments or like meetings or like working other things. That would be in my normal calendar, and then I also put in a different color my MCAT studying. So my goal is to study 8 hours a day, Monday through Friday. Obviously, that doesn't always happen because I have other things going on during the day, and I'm really trying to because I am taking my MCAT June 26th. So it is coming up quick. It is 34 days away. I have a calendar over there. So the first thing I did was make that calendar, and all of those days I have just a general idea of what I want to be studying. So biochem, psych soc, cars, whatever I'm studying for that day. And then I put in my practice exams. So I'm going to try to do one of those every weekend and then review it every Monday. So I'm basically studying 6 days a week, but one of them is a practical studying. So the first 2 weeks of my studying time frame was about 6 weeks, give or take, from the end of my semester until the start of my MCAT exam. So my week 1 and week 2 are basically just content review. My week 3 and week 4 are, one, I'm going to be doing Anki flashcards or catching up on content that I feel like I'm not as good on. And my week 4 is doing the UWorld flashcards that I've heard a lot about. I didn't think it was very important for me to do a lot of UWorld. And week 6 is kind of a rest week and like finishing touches, going back over, doing another practice exam, the last one, and then taking the exam at the end of that week, and all of those things. And then another one of those weeks, week 5, I think, is doing the practice questions from the AAMC like test prep things. So I will be doing those during 1 week too. So I have it pretty spaced out using the methods I think are going to work best for me. My own personal thing when I heard everyone talking about content review was I just didn't know where to start. Obviously, if you're preparing for the MCAT, you know there's 4 sections on the MCAT: bio/biochem, psych soc, chemistry, physics, and cars, critical analysis and reasoning skills. So this test is, it's a hurdle. It's a big exam, and it kind of puts a very important number to what, if you're going to get into medical school or not. And obviously it's just a small part, but it's also a big part of that small part. So I wanted to make sure that I was getting the best things that would work for me, and there is programs that like other people can subscribe to, like Kaplan, or there's literally so many of them out there, I don't know, but I just didn't think for me and the time frame that I have and the place that I'm out, I really didn't need that much of a review and that much of a structure and like a course. So I just didn't think it was worth my money at that point to spend that, and I didn't hear like great outcomes of people, getting perfect scores from taking these exams or anything, from taking these classes for the exam or anything. So I just, didn't think for me that that was worth it, but for other people it may be worth it. So I mean, use your own discretion. So for me, doing the content review, what that looks like is I am going through every single topic in the AAMC content list and highlighting with three different colors, like what I know in one color, what I don't know in one color, and what I kind of know in another color. Going through, highlighting all of the contents in there, and then going back through and saying, hey, I don't know this. I need to spend a lot of time making sure I know this. Or, hey, I really do know this. Let me just take a quick, one over glance at my notes from that section, or watch a quick 10-minute video, like recap, just to refresh my brain on it. Or, hey, I kind of know this, and I maybe should spend some time on parts of it, but I don't need to, like, fully reteach myself it, or teach myself it because I've never learned it. So that's what I've been doing. I'm kind of making a study guide of all of that as I go along. And honestly, at the point I'm at now, I don't think I'm going to be able to get it done in 2 weeks. So I might use a third week for content review and get rid of the Anki flashcards because I don't do as well with them. And I think there's something more that I can do while I'm at work or I'm not working full time, while I'm babysitting, or while I'm in the car in the passenger seat at baseball games, or those type things. So that it's more something that can come with me and not something I need to devote a whole week to, because I'm really not a great flashcard learner. But I have heard great things about it, and I don't think it can hurt. But at the point I'm at, I'm just kind of on a time crunch to get everything done and get the best score I possibly can. Obviously, all of these things that I am doing are not going to be good for everyone. So I'm taking the MCAT a little bit later than other people. I wanted to take the MCAT one time and get my best score possible when I knew I could devote time for it. My spring semester, unfortunately, I was taking 21 credit hours. I didn't have any extra time to study. It is what it is. I didn't have that much time, obviously, over the holidays to be studying, and I was working in the COVID and just everything, so I've just been kind of busy, and it's been kind of pushed off for a little bit. But I don't think that's a bad thing, and don't feel bad if you're like me and you're just kind of a little bit behind, because everything else that you do in your life that makes you a well-rounded applicant is gonna show through at the end of the day. And just because you're added a little bit later doesn't mean that you can't get a great score or a better score than some people even. It just, you just gotta do your own thing. So that is basically what I am doing for that. Another common question that I get from people is when to do things. So I recommend doing it a little bit earlier than me if you can. If you can't, it's not a big deal. So obviously, the actual like MCAT portal, obviously there's other portals, but that's like one of the main ones, definitely the main one. It opened in May, and the first transmission, I believe, is at the end of May or the end of June. I don't remember. But basically just try to get your application in as soon as possible. So as soon as my finals were over, I basically completed the actual application itself and submitted that so it could be transmitted to my schools, and asked my people for letters of recommendations to give them enough time, and got my transcripts sent over once my transcripts for the semester were finalized. That was the very first thing I did. And then that way they were already in, and then my MCAT scores will just be transmitted to those schools when they come in, which is perfectly fine. And then, so that's what you do in, the summer after your junior year is when you would fill out that application for the fall entry of after your senior year. So it is now, I am a junior. I graduate in December of 2021 though. The rest of my class graduates in May of 2022. So my application I filled out May 2021. to be going into med school in the summer, fall, like July, August time of 2022. So that is what that timeline kind of looks like. A lot of people want to retake their MCAT, but a discretion I got with that is even if you take the MCAT more than once, both of those scores are going to be sent to your medical school. So if you take the MCAT twice and you get the same score, they're kind of wondering why you retook it, or why you didn't do better on it the second time if you bothered to retake it. And that's just something to keep in mind, is if you're gonna take it another time, you just better like really be prepared, because they're still gonna see the first score. It doesn't replace the other one. And so I would recommend, if you want to have time, obviously the MCAT, the actual exam itself, does not run certain months of the year. I cannot tell you those months off the top of my head. I know it's towards the end of every year. I want to say like October, November, December, maybe, something like that. So you need to keep that in mind when you're studying. I would recommend, probably, if you can, either taking the MCAT late in your sophomore year, or like over the summer between your sophomore and junior year, or early sophomore year. You can do it, second semester sophomore year. It's really whenever it's convenient for you. I feel like since I've taken so many more classes now, my actual studying for the MCAT is a lot less, because a lot of that material I've already learned and gone over for my classes, which is nice. So you just have to look at your schedule and look at what you're doing and kind of make that decision for yourself. But sometime between the end of sophomore year and the end of junior year is when you should really try to get your MCAT done. I am just a month behind. No biggie, we will survive. But it's not the big deal. You can take your MCAT as late as like September, but admissions are on a rolling basis. So obviously the later you do it, the less likely you are to get interviews and stuff like that, since they will have already given away a lot of those spots. So just better to get it in as early as you can. Let me see, is there anything else? Obviously, you need to pick letters of recommendation that are really good. Really read all of the things that the MCAT service provides you. The like different manuals and stuff that they have for the different portions of filling out your application and stuff. It will really tell you what they're looking for and what they need. And when you go to pick your schools that you're actually applying for, you should look at the actual school guide that they provide, because it has things like, median GPA, median MCAT score, like what states they get applications from, all sorts of information that could help you kind of narrow it down to what's going to be best for you long term. Yeah, guys, that is about it that I have for you for my MCAT studying and applying to med school at the moment. I am definitely welcome to do any questions that you guys might have. Feel free to leave them in the comments below, or at my Instagram handle that I will put right here. You may DM me and I will try to answer any questions that you have. Obviously, I am not an advisor or anything, so that would be your best bet, to reach out to those types of people for any questions that you have. But I will do my best to tell you what has worked for me and what I am doing on this journey to hopefully get into medical school. But at the end of the day, I think whatever is meant to be will happen, and I am just trying to take deep breaths, honestly. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you next time.